Welcome to Writing Workshop. So today, writers, we're going to be revising your research reports to include primary source documents. So how do we do that? Well, in order to do this lesson, you should have already found a primary source document that gives some important information or maybe some perspective on your topic and have read it closely to understand its significance. So if you didn't already do the reading lesson, you need to do the reading lesson in order to prepare for this writing. It's very important. All right. If you do that, then we can move on. So the first thing you need to do once you have that primary source document is decide what information to include from the document. Okay, and they've given you some things to think about there. You need to decide where you're going to include the information from that document. And I'm going to give you some ideas for what to think about in order to make that choice. And then you need to write about it. And so that's the 3 steps that we're going to be doing today. And I'm going to model for you with my own writing. All right, let's get started. Also, something you could be doing is bumping up the rigor. And I'm going to tell you more about that when we get to that point. Okay, so first thing is, this is the primary source document that I chose to use. Now, this is the same one that you had read in the read aloud and also in the reading lesson that was modeled. So I got to decide what information to include from this document. So I need to think about what information from this would be surprising or interesting to my reader. And, maybe what piece of this could be helpful to my reader to understand this topic more deeply. Now, when I went back and looked at this article that I read, the beginning was mainly talking about sort of like a little overview of what the Trail of Tears was. And then when it gets into the reporter's writing, it sort of has him describe what he's seeing in terms of what like a day was on the trail and how the people were what they were going through there. And then along into the next page, you sort of talk about some of the reasons behind why the people were being moved. But I thought was really interesting was at the end, he sort of gives this interesting account of this soldier. At the end of the piece, he's talking about how this Native American chieftain had basically run into a soldier that he fought with in a war, along with the guy who was now Andrew Jackson, who was president, and sort of describing like how betrayed that he and his people felt by this guy, by the president Jackson, who they had once fought alongside. So I think that that is some surprising or maybe some interesting information. And I definitely think that that is what I want to be using when I go to do my writing. Because I think it's going to help the reader to understand not just like how cruelly the Native Americans were treated, but also this sense of like betrayal. Like, hey, we fought for you and now you're doing this to us? That's not right. So I'm going to use this information when I go to write about my reading. Okay, I've done step 1. I've decided what information to include in the document. Now, step 2, I got to decide where I'm going to include the information that I got from the document. This is my research report right now. I have 4 sections and a little introduction here where I sort of just talk a little bit about, what happened kind of on the run up to the Trail of Tears, and then I talk about sort of the suffering and the pain that the people experienced. I talked about the Indian Removal Act, like the law that sort of said like, hey, this is illegal to do this removal. And then I have a description here about what life was like on the trail. And then I talk about how some of the Native Americans fought back against this removal. If I'm thinking about that piece of information, about that sort of run-in between the chieftain and the old soldier, I could put it in this section on the trail and sort of describe that sort of sense of betrayal that they had. That could go there. But you know what? I really think what I want to do is I want to set up for my reader kind of, why this was such a painful experience. Not only because it was just a lot of people dying and a lot of people getting sick. I want to talk about how these people were betrayed. So I think I'm actually going to include it as part of the introduction here in this first introductory paragraph to my piece. So that's my decision. I've decided what I'm going to use, so what information I'm using, and where I'm going to use it. And so now I'm going to go to step 3, where I'm going to actually do this work. So here's my introduction. In the 1830s, the First Nations faced forced removal from the southeastern part of the country, what would later be called the Trail of Tears. White settlers had been pushing Native people off the land for a long time. But when gold was found on Native land, the U.S. government passed a law that would eventually push the Native people out of the eastern United States for good. Okay, so how am I going to include this like little piece of information about like this encounter between the old soldier and the chieftain? Well, I need to make sure that I'm describing the document and where it comes from and what it communicates. So I have to make sure I say that. But then I actually have to describe how it was used, or maybe how it affected the people at the time. Those are the two things that I need to worry about first. So I'm thinking, you know what, I want to introduce the piece of information. I want to introduce the piece of evidence, maybe talk about, like, you know, what was happening at the time. And then I definitely want to tell where I got it from. So I'm going to do that. Let me see here. So the Native people felt that they had been more than just good neighbors to the white settlers. They had also been a military ally of the United States. So that talks about like what happened before, kind of leading up to this. A Maine newspaper reporter witnessing the Cherokee removal in 1838 wrote about a meeting between an old Cherokee chief and an old U.S. Army soldier in Kentucky. Right there, I'm describing where the document comes from. Okay, now I'm going to get into this what it's communicating. The two men had fought alongside the man who would later become president, Andrew Jackson, in a war. The old chieftain sadly told the soldier, "Ah, my life and the lives of my people were then at stake for you and your country. I then thought Jackson my best friend, but Jackson no serve me right. Your country no do me justice now." The Native people did more than just be good neighbors. They fought for a country that was now betraying them by forcing them to move away from their homes. So here I have that quote, but I'm also taking some time to sort of explain the significance. I'm explaining why this quote was important, right? And it kind of connects back to my idea here that the Native people felt that they had been more than just good neighbors to the white settlers. They'd also been a military ally of the United States. So this really gets into why this whole Trail of Tears was really significant. It wasn't just that they were being treated very cruelly. It was more than that. They were being betrayed. So this is what I'm doing to convey kind of like why, in my introduction, why like this is really important to know. It was more than just cruelty. It was betrayal as well. And I think that that is something that's really important for my reader to understand about this. Now, I could do some work to bump up the rigor here. I could think about maybe what some significance or meaning to us today could be. Maybe make some connections to what's going on right now. So when we talk about betrayal as an experience here, I might want to think about, you know, doesn't necessarily have to be Native Americans, but what about people today that also feel betrayed? Maybe some people who came to this country and thought that they were going to be able to apply for asylum, but suddenly we're being told that they can't. That's like something that's going on in our country today. So if I wanted to, I could maybe bump up the rigor and maybe make a connection to some of the betrayal that people are feeling today when it comes to immigration. That might be an interesting connection to do. I'm not going to do that here now, but it's something to think about for later. All right, friends, it's your turn to do this work. One thing, I don't want to go before I go. Did you see how I color-coded my revision? This is something I thought was really good that I know Ms. Shame's class is doing in their work. I want to see you doing this. This is really helpful to sort of see your revision work. So take a moment to just color code any changes that you're making, any revision for this work. So it's really easy to see. when you've included something like primary source documents or maybe a timeline or geography. If you were working on any of the other revision work, go ahead and do that. Color code your revision. It's really easy for your teacher to give you some feedback using that color coding. All right, your turn. So make sure that you have already gotten that primary source document that gives you some important information or maybe some perspective on the topic. Look through the resources that have been posted up. If you're not finding something that you need, you have to reach out to your teacher, email them. When you talk to them on one of your Zoom meetings, let them know that you are having trouble finding a primary source document that kind of fits perfectly with the work that you're doing. Make sure that they know that that you need that kind of help. There are a lot of primary source documents included in all the materials, but make sure that you're getting some help if you need it. And then make sure you're doing all the steps. You have to decide what information to include from the document. You're not going to include the whole document. A lot of these documents are a lot of information. You got to be choosing very selectively what to include. You need to decide where you're going to include the information that you're getting from the document. Okay? It could be in one place. It could be in more than one place. You decide. And then you need to make sure that when you write about this primary source, that you're describing the document and where it comes from, and also what it's communicating to the people. And then also take the time to describe how maybe the document was used or maybe how this moment affected the people at the time. And then finally, I'm very interested to see people bumping up the rigor. Are you going to be able to make any connections to how important this moment or this document was? What's the meaning for us today? Are there any connections that we can make to what's going on right now? I think that is a very interesting thing to be doing to bump up the rigor. All right, writers, I'm very excited to see what you do with this work. Get started.